language.
Yeah.
We're having this conversation. I'm talking to you from Atlanta, which is absolutely the heart of the civil rights movement. We're about 2 miles here from Dr. King's house and church, Ebenezer Baptist Church, where, among other things, John Lewis went to church every Sunday he was in town. And he is famous for all kinds of important work, including his sort of teaching around good trouble, his willingness to encourage folks to participate in civil disobedience, nonviolent civil disobedience, which specifically means if you think a law is unjust, you have to be willing to accept the consequences of breaking that law. Religious freedom is not I dislike a law and therefore I shouldn't have consequences for breaking it, which is how it's currently being construed. It's actually this law is unjust based on my understanding of, my tradition, and I'm willing to accept the consequences of breaking it, which can include jail. That was John Lewis's um, one of his many contributions. And as he was paying attention to a lot of the movements that were coming up over the past few years, in particular the Black Lives Matter movement, he said he was so inspired. He wanted to go see Black Lives Matter Plaza before he died. He walked it with a walker the day before he died. And he said, I'm so inspired, and this movement needs a song. It's missing that because in the civil rights movement, which can easily be sort of, you know, um, sanitized, domesticated, made to seem a little bit too sing-songy in a way. It was actually horrifying. People were experiencing trauma and fear and threats, and so it was. I don't mean to in any way um, make it seem like it was an easy walk, but they sang together all the time. They prepared themselves spiritually for their demonstrations. That was a huge part of the Soul Force movement that King talked about. And Mahalia Jackson was a huge part of that work. So, for example, in the March on Washington, he's giving this talk that was going to become the "I Have a Dream" speech, and it's kind of long and almost wonkish. Like, here's the policy proposals for the Civil Rights Act and all that. And because Mahalia Jackson had been like on the like church house like pulpit with him for many, many years, she had heard the talk that he wanted to give, the country needed to hear, which is the "I Have a Dream" speech. And she sang right before him most of the time, often "Precious Lord" or "If I Can Help Somebody." And in the middle of the talk, with all the cameras rolling and all those tens of thousands of folks watching, she said, "Tell him about the dream, Martin. Tell him about the dream." And here he goes off book and he says, "I have a dream." And he goes on from there because it was on his heart and he was improvising, but he was riffing. And so the musical community, together with the sort of preaching community, got together and told a story that captured the heart of the country and changed the course of our future. Also, along the way they were singing it, it's easier to focus on what unites us than what divides us when you're singing next to somebody, when you have a little bit of movement, or when you have a meal together, or um, when you do things with your bodies together, there's a chance to feel a sense of connection because we're creatures, we're incarnate, you know. So I think music is just massively, massively important and powerful because it touches both head and heart, right? Like you can hear that's like a really hip, chord or a beautiful song or a great orchestration, but you also feel something in your heart. Like Simple Gifts. I used to work at a Shaker school where they wrote the people there wrote Simple Gifts. Super simple melody, pentatonic melody. It goes on from there. That's so powerful. I mean, that you feel
Yeah.
something when you hear that. It's like Appalachian Spring, which Copeland then turns into this like majestic ba da ba da di da 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 da
Mm.
da 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 di da bo bum dum o da o da o da 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 di da bum 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 bum. That's powerful. That
Mhm.
speaks beyond it's beyond words, right? So I can go on and on about music, but it really matters. John Baptiste right now, he's playing sold out theaters with thousands of people. The first thing he's doing, he's not wowing them with his virtuosity. He's not playing scales. He's getting the whole room to sing "This Little Light of Mine."
Mm.
I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. So it's just so powerful.